The Hollywood All-Star Band, a super group of musicians whose credits read quite literally like a who's who in contemporary music, are coming to Connecticut to perform 2 shows. The group is led by Grammy Nominated Songwriter, Producer, and Keyboardist, Hollywood Steve Gaspár. Nice to have you here, Hollywood Steve.
Thank you for having me, Teresa. It's a pleasure.
All right, so you've had quite the career. You started off playing the piano.
At four and a half years old, my father, who was a symphonic musician, trombone was his instrument, decided it was time for me to take piano lessons. And I did learn at a very early age the value of a traditional theory-based music education, and it served me well through all these years.
Wow, and I got to ask you where Hollywood came from. I mean, it fits you well, Steve.
It's a funny story. I was working years ago with a band some people may remember called the Black Rock All-Stars, and was racing back to a gig in Westport from the West Coast in complete garb, Hawaiian shirt with pineapple trees on it, the whole works. Walk into the club, and the sax player, Bobby Peters, took one look at me and goes, "Oh my God, you look like you just flew back from Hollywood."
Sure
All
enough.
night long, I'm introduced as Hollywood Steve Gaspár, and I was unable to shake it.
And it's stuck, huh?
All these years.
All right, let's talk about some of the folks you performed with.
I've had the pleasure to work with a lot of very talented people. James Brown, B.B. King, Edgar Winter, and most recently, Liberty DeVito, who was Billy Joel's drummer. I had the pleasure to do a recording session with Liberty, which being a piano player was a real thrill.
Sure.
I was also in a band for a while with the drummer from Kiss, Peter Criss, when he was living right in New Canaan. So it's been a very diverse musical background, to say the least.
And you've written some songs that people will certainly recognize.
Well, I hope they'd recognize them. But yeah, I started, my songwriting career began in my teens when I was signed to Epic CBS Records with a song called Promise Me. More recently, I had the pleasure to have a song on an album by American Idol star LaToya London.
Oh, sure.
That collection of musicians and producers on that project was, very heady, and it was a very pleasure, it was a pleasure to be in such great company. David Foster, Narada Michael Walden, Barry Eastman, and also had a song called The Reason, which appeared on an ABC Extreme Makeover Home Edition DVD.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a lot of different things,
Yeah,
including,
I guess so.
in
A lot of
addition to artist
variety.
projects.
All right, so let's talk about the Hollywood All-Stars. I know it's a 12-piece band.
11 to 12,
11
yes.
to 12, and now how did you form this?
Well, after having been absent from the local music scene for years because I was spending so much time in the recording studio, really began to miss the whole live performance experience.
Sure.
And decided that I would love to go back and play. However, I wanted to play with the musicians that I wanted to play with, where I wanted to play, when I wanted to play, and with all these restrictions, realized the only way this was going to happen would be to start my own
You did it
band.
yourself. Now, what are we looking at on the screen here? Is this your band?
This is, well, at the moment, sax player Bill Harris. I mean, this is a show that we did last spring at the Bijou Theater in Bridgeport, a lovely venue, and was our first live performance, and the show sold out,
That's
Teresa.
awesome.
I mean, there
That's
were
so
people there
great.
at the door buying standing room only the night of that performance, and it was received so well that I decided to try to go ahead and put a few more of these
Keep
shows
going, right?
together.
Well,
Exactly.
you have 2 benefits coming up. Let's talk about those.
The first will be a benefit for the Charter Oak victims of the plane crash in East Haven. When I booked the Katharine Hepburn Theater
Oh, that'll be pretty.
on Friday, October 25th, I was contacted by a girl from Raven Media, whose name is Carol Corso. Carol's idea was to take part of the proceeds and to try to make it a benefit for the victims of this plane crash.
Sure.
And I contacted Chuck Still, the executive director at the theater, who said he would be more than willing to do that, and I agreed as well. So that one is going to be turned into a benefit for those victims. Following that, Thursday, November 7th, the band is going to be doing what will probably be its final performance for this year, simply because of the availability of all these musicians.
Sure.
That will be November 7th at the Fairfield Theater Company in Fairfield.
Great. And then the cost, where can we find more information and tickets?
Tickets are available for the Katharine Hepburn Show Friday, October 25th at the katharineHepburntheater.org. Thursday, November 7th, the Fairfield Theater Company, their tickets are available at fairfieldtheater.org.
Pretty easy.
And hopefully we're going to be able to get some people out and fill up all these seats.
And how do you have a website?
We're on our Facebook page.
All right,
You
we'll
can
look
find
you up
us
there.
on Facebook.
And we'll also have all the information over at WTNH.com. Just click on Style. Thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure, Teresa. Thank you.
All right, stay with us. More Style after the break. We'll be right back.